Back on the Sportsman Zone and we turn our attention to Cape Town, South Africa. We're in for some headline clashes in the 2023 Netball World Cup semi-finals as Group F winners England will face defending champions New Zealand, while Group G winners Jamaica do battle against 11-time champions Australia. The Sunshine Girls had an impressive group stage to end undefeated. They are fresh off their first ever World Cup win against New Zealand, while the Aussies will be hoping to bounce back from a stinging 56-55 defeat to England. The Sunshine Girls enter this matchup having beaten the Aussies just once in their last 5 competitive meetings. That win came at the preliminary stage of last year's Commonwealth Games, but let's not forget that the Aussies returned the favour in the final in Birmingham. It's also worth mentioning that the Diamonds have never missed a Netball World Cup final in their history, while Jamaica are seeking to make their maiden appearance. Joining us via Zoom to preview the clash is captain of the Jamaica Suns male netball team and a coach in the Elite Netball League as well, Kurt Dale. Kurt, welcome to the Sportsman Zone. It's a pleasure to have you. Hope you're doing well. First of all, before we even talk about the Sunshine Girls, I see that your male team had a tour of England recently.
Yeah, Ricardo, thank you for having me as usual. Yes, we had a tour of England. We were successful in beating the Torrents at 3-0 as we say in Jamaica, victory against them, clean sweep.
Yes.
So we're quite happy with that.
Well, hopefully the Sunshine Girls will sweep this Netball World Cup. A top semi-final coming up against Australia on Saturday morning, 9 o'clock in Jamaica, 10 in the rest of the Caribbean. How do you see this one going, and how strong of a chance do you give the Sunshine Girls of beating this Australia team?
I think year after year, well, tournament after tournament, we speak of how good the Sunshine Girls are and how good they're getting each tournament. And we always talk about this being the best team or the 2019 team or the 2015 team. But I think what's different about this team is that there's a real shift in the mindset. They actually now believe that they're good enough to compete in the tournament. And you're seeing that in the way how they move and they play and how they speak during the interviews. So I think that shift and coming off the silver medal last year, it will give them good confidence and put them in a good place going into the semi-finals.
Yeah. How impressed have you been with how they have played this tournament? A few matches that we knew going in would go a long way in telling us how ready the Sunshine Girls were for this tournament. The South Africa game, which they handled brilliantly, and then even more so, the New Zealand game, which they won 59-48. And as I pointed out to Lance and Mariah yesterday, it was that final quarter where we won it 18-9 that I was most impressed with.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we saw this. We saw it from earlier in the year. In January, when Jamaica went over to play England, there was a real dominance from the mid-court players, because we always talk about the mid-court being our weakest area, but we saw the dominance from our mid-court. Khadija, she was exceptional in that English series. Nicole Dixon, she was injured, but we saw that while she was on court in that England series, we were in the contest. We were at times leading, and then the shift came when she was off. So we saw the quality of Nicole and Khadija there. And then when we went down in South Africa with the underman squad, at that time we saw the quality of Adine and Crystal Plummer there. While we lost that series terribly, their quality really stood out. So the midcourt has made a real shift in their progress. At what the work that Connie has been doing with them here is quite evident. And I think with that now we have all the dots connected for a successful tournament.
Yeah. What unique challenge do you think we are going to face against this Australia team?
Well, as you know, the Australia team they're a solid team. They're world #1 for a reason. And in a wounded Australia you never want to face. But I think the quality, as I said, the quality in this Jamaican team, the strength in the back end, and Janelle Fowler up front, and the midcourt now not being passengers, they're actually carrying their weight. I think that put us in a good place. However, the Australian team, they'll be solid with Courtney Bruce not coming off our best game against England, and then Steph Wood, their vice captain, had to be benched. They'll be coming back firing, but I do think we have the quality to contain them.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the mid-court. Nicole, Dixon, Rochester, who has been very good this tournament, but also Dean Thomas, and especially in the New Zealand game, and I note specifically the third quarter. How much of a difference has that made to this Jamaica team? Because especially when I watched the New Zealand game, and when New Zealand really put the pressure on defensively, we were still able to escape and get the ball into Janelle Fowler consistently.
Yes, and we had a slight mishap in the second quarter. We had some turnovers, and that changed where Adine came on. Adine is a quality wing attack, and the good thing about Adine's game is that she plays completely different from Khadija. She plays at a different pace, and her movement is quite different from Khadija. So what she does, she changes the dynamics of the defense. So the defensive unit now have to go back and change their game plan, and that was quite obvious. When she came on, they were just out of it completely, and we had a few long balls that went straight into Janelle from Adine, which were beautiful. But then we saw Khadija, she came back in that last quarter, and she really steadied the ship. So it's a good change up for us, and for the first time, we have real options that we can go to and change things up if needed.
Yeah, given everything what you have just said, what does your starting seven look like for that big semi-final tomorrow? Clearly, Janelle Fowler will start in the shooting circle along with Shanice Beckford. How does the rest of the setup look to you?
Well, yes, obviously Janelle and Shanice will be up front, and they'll also be accompanied by
I think we've lost Kurt Dale there. I really wanted to hear his starting seven, Lance and Mariah, because Coach Connie Francis has really played around with different combinations for the entire World Cup, and especially in that center court wing attack position.
Yes. Yes.
I really wanted to get his take. I think we have him back now. Kurt, you can go ahead to give us your starting seven.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I agree, Janelle and Shanice up front, no doubt about that. And I would go with Nicole, Dixon, Rochester in center, Khadija, who is one of the best wing attacks in the tournament so far from the statistics. I think she should be in running for player of the tournament. She's been having a stunning tournament so far. I would go with Latanya on the wing defense, and then Jodian Ward, who is just amazing at goal defense position, combining with Shamira Sterling.
Yes, sounds about what most individuals would have, so no place for Dean Thomas in that starting seven. Kurt, thank you very much for joining us on the Sportsman Zone. We'll all be watching the game on Saturday, and then hopefully when we talk again on Tuesday, we'll be speaking about the Sunshine Girls winning the Netball World Cup for the first time ever.
Definitely. Thanks for having me, Ricardo.
Yeah, Lance and Mariah, I think this is going to be a terrific netball game. So often in the past we've seen Australia, New Zealand and even England from time to time run away with big matches against the Sunshine Girls. And I just think this one specifically, this semi-final is going to be a thriller, like the two matches at the Commonwealth Games last year.
I can think about headlines, you know, all the storylines coming out of this already. If Jamaica were to create that upset and, of course, win against Australia, like, it will be a day that we would live to talk about for a very long time. And I mean, what would be even more beautiful is we would be covering it here.
Yeah. What's your gut feeling, Lance? You know, earlier you said you're a miserable old man. And I know that old men usually have a gut feeling.
There's something that tells me that this Jamaican team can go all the way, to be honest. And we started to see the signs from the Birmingham Commonwealth Games in the summer of last year. And we saw the disappointment when they lost the gold medal match. Conversely, we saw the excitement and satisfaction when they had won the preliminary round match against the Aussies, and then they had beaten New Zealand as well. And it brings me to the point that I don't even consider this win over New Zealand as an upset win. You know, it was labelled an upset win because New Zealand are ranked 2 in the world and Jamaica are ranked 4.
Yeah.
I saw headlines that said Jamaica stunned New Zealand or upset New Zealand and so on. But the fact is, Jamaica beat New Zealand last year. they have looked better than New Zealand in this tournament, and on form, they are superior to New Zealand. So I don't think the win over New Zealand is an upset. I thought it was predictable.
Yes.
Having said that, I'm not sure who are favourites to win the Australia-Jamaica game on Saturday. Because the Australians are real pedigree. We saw the statistics and the regularity, not even regularity, the fact that they have not missed any final.
Yeah.
So it tells you that the Australians are really, really tough in this stage of the tournament. So it's going to be a tough battle for the Jamaicans. But they've beaten them before, Jamaica, and within the last year. So I fancied the Jamaicans' chances here, but you know me and the respect I have for Australia in cricket and in netball. I just think it's going to be a mountain to climb. But I think this Jamaican team has the self-belief, and that is the key word. I think they have the self-belief to, I'm going to say it, upset the Australians. Because if they beat Australia, I think it would be regarded as an upset.
And yes. I just want to say one thing. The score that happened, the score line in the final of that Commonwealth game was 55-51, Ricardo.
4
goals.
Was
a really, really close thing. Yeah. And that's what I'm expecting as well, a close
Were you at that gold medal match? You were at athletics. Track and field was on at the same time, so you had to make the choice.
Yeah, and Donald Oliver was at the netball.
Yeah.
I tried to get Donald to go to track and field, and he said, but you...
That's incongruous. It's incongruous. Having said, you were at the Australia window in the prelim.
Yes.
I remember
so
that.
You know whose fault it was that we lost.
That's how Donald is.
Tell you what, there is a trend developing at this Netball World Cup. Jamaica beating New Zealand at a World Cup for the first time ever. England beating Australia at a World Cup for the first time ever. And today, Uganda got the better of Malawi at a World Cup for the first time ever. Will that continue tomorrow and the Sunshine Girls get the better of Australia at a World Cup for the first time ever? Fingers crossed.